Coming up on Centre Circle, changes coming between the PLCA and the PFAJ after a mandate from CONCACAF. A case for Reno, the most travelled team in the Red Stripe Premier League, and a new facility for the parish of Hanover. Recently, Rudolph Speed of Cavalier stated that the Premier League doesn't need two bodies to handle its affairs, as currently that is being done by the Premier League Clubs Association, the PLCA, and the Professional Football Association of Jamaica, the PFAJ.
Again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, you probably find if you say, okay, you take over, they run far as possible from it, because everybody likes to talk about changes that are necessary. When you put them to the test, other people either not capable or just don't want to do it anyway.
Well, change is coming, as a regional body, CONCACAF has mandated the JFF to scrap one of the two bodies.
Right now, one body is running the football. The football is being run by the Professional Football Association of Jamaica. That's our mandate, to run the Premier League, right? What I want to drill home is that the Professional Football Association's board, which runs the Premier League, the current Red Stripe Premier League, is comprised of 3 members of the PLCA and 4 members selected by the JFF. So quite often we hear talk as if the PLCA is totally separate from the PFAJ. 3 members of the board of the PLCA sit on the board of the PFAJ, right? So I don't understand. I've seen in the media where people say the fight between the PFAJ and the PLCA are intensifying. What fight? There's no fight. We sit down as a board and we obviously have differences. We have differences amongst the JFF members on the board. We have differences between the JFF members on the board and the PLCA members on the board. But that's what the board is all about.
But who will decide which one of the bodies should go? Or should there be a merging of the two associations?
We have said to the JFF, this is not something that the PFAJ or the PLCA can do. Governing body for football has to now take the lead in this regard. So we're hoping, and they have indicated that we will be meeting very shortly to see if we can further that. But apart from that, I don't know what else I'd be able to tell you in terms of that. I mean, we had a meeting with JFF and with the PLCA members present, and it was clearly stated that this is something very, very much on top of the agenda for the JFF. So hopefully we can see some progress in that regard. The way in which the thing was set up, I say so without any fear of contradiction, because it's something that we discuss generally and is widely accepted. There were challenges with the governance structure of how the league is actually acting, and that is part of the reason why I believe CONCACAF, who knows what's happening, wants to see one body, because it is a little bit cloudy how some of the things actually, some of the functions are actually executed.
Red Stripe's deal with the Premier League will come to an end this season, but chairman of the PFAJ, Don Anderson, says talks are underway with the Bear Company.
And we're optimistic that they will be engaged. They will engage with the league again for another period. We don't know how, and obviously, as in every end of contract renewal or discussion, there will be some things that we will want to see differently. But again, it's going to be a discussion with Red Stripe.
But again, why isn't corporate Jamaica warming up to the Premier League?
Unless if I have the greatest product in the world and I don't go out and tell people I have it and why them should buy it, you're not going to get nobody buying it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that answers your question. We haven't been doing the marketing. Maybe we need a coordinated marketing thrust right now to be able to reach out to sponsors. I'm answering 2 questions in one. One is that I don't think there's been sufficient reach out, and I don't think there's been a solid enough reason why given to corporate Jamaica to support football. For one to support a product by sponsoring or advertising, one has to know, well, what is the reach of the football? You know, how am I attracting? How many people? Etc. etc. Now, very few of the grounds that we currently play our Premier League on can hold more than 5,000–6,000 people comfortably. But if you tell me that or football loving public is 5 or 6,000 people, I would say no, you're not talking sense. Or football loving public is well over 20, 30,000 people. When we have a good match at the stadium, we can pack the stadium with 30,000 people. So we're saying that one of the things is probably to try to play our matches, our big matches, not all the matches by any means, our big matches that are the venue that people will come to with proper inducements. We don't say you're going to put on a match and say, boy, stadium come, match gone, and expect to get 20,000 people, which is why we believe the marketing is going to be so important, to be able to find a means to reach out. And once you reach out and sponsors realize, hey, but my product is going to be seen and heard by 25,000 people, it makes a difference. Dislocations, like stoppages, don't help the image of football and doesn't help the appeal to sponsors. When sponsors hear that the football is being, the matches that can't be played because referees don't turn up, they say, why are we going to bother with that? So that is what people who are involved in the football have to understand. You can't say on the one hand, boy, we need more revenue, knowing that revenue has to come from somebody letting go money for the thing, and at the same time you're creating challenges for the product that you want to use to appeal to people. It just don't make good sense.
And it's on this premise that Speed is recommending that the second round of the Premier League be played on neutral grounds.
As a person who is into statistical data to support any decision, every club is entitled to an opinion. We respect every club's opinion. Any decision that is taken would have to be in the interest of football and not necessarily one club. So whenever we get a view which suggests that this is a view of the clubs at large, we will seriously consider it. But I can't think, we would never be able to respond to a view by one club that says this is the best way to do it. The football has to be run with the interest of all the clubs in mind, and that's my response to that.
But there is a consideration to play the playoff matches on a neutral ground, but it must be agreed on by all parties.
There are 12 clubs in the league, and all of them are going to have a different perspective as to how it should be done. And I don't think you can make everybody happy because they all come with different perspectives. What is important is that whatever decision that we arrive at is in the interest of football and all the 12 clubs.
And what decision is that?
How we run the league, I'm not sure yet. I mean, we still to meet with the clubs to determine exactly how the playoffs will go. But whichever way we go, the PFAJ is committed to ensuring that the interest of the clubs is preserved. We have selected a marketing entity to drive the marketing initially, but not exclusively, initially for the playoffs. Because we believe that we're now dealing with the top 6 clubs, the creme de la creme of our Jamaica football, that we want to present a product to the football loving public that will make them want to come and watch the football in numbers that we know we can get. And we believe once we have that, we will boost the revenue for the playoffs. And we're hoping that from that, we can segue into a bigger, broader sponsorship drive for the next season.
The PLCA has also been streaming matches this season, and Anderson says there is another company wanting to do likewise.
The PLCA is the one that has entered into, by virtue of their mandate to raise the funds. The PLCA, not without knowledge of the PFAJ, the PLCA is the one that has entered into an arrangement with a streaming partner to stream the matches. They're now doing a very good job, we understand. We know about them, we've met the persons, we've seen some of the streams, and that we believe is one way in which the revenue is going to be increased. There's another streaming partner that has come to us and has presented something that looks very good. And therefore, if we can have streaming from 2 or 3 or 4 people without any legal issue, we want to go that route too, because it's all a question of making more money for the clubs. I want to ensure that it is understood that We are just we are the administrative arm running the thing, setting the schedules, etc., monitoring the disciplinary component of it, etc. Okay, and our job is to make sure it happens.
Online betting, which started this season, is also another revenue stream.
I'm not quite sure what the arrangement with the betting companies, but I know it's part of the potential revenue. But again, there are things that need to be organized properly. Really, it's something that with one organization, here's another reason for one organization. For one organization handling all of this, I believe it will be very clear how the process should work and how the process works.
Still to come on Center Circle, corporate area teams find the trip to Reno taxing. But what about Reno's travels to Kingston? And a light at the end of the tunnel